This is Jeremy here, Man on Music Meltdown, back with another video. We have today, guys, another quick album review. This time we're checking out the latest from technical brutal death metal legends Cryptopsy. Their new album's entitled An Insatiable Violence, and it just dropped on June 20th, 2025 through Seasons of Mist Records. It's their 9th studio album, and I have been following this band for quite some time, probably the last 20 years or so. It is a band I do really pretty much enjoy quite a bit. But generally, these guys are almost a foot out of my wheelhouse. I do like pretty heavy, intense music, but when the death metal becomes, like, brutal death metal tag, for me, that's a little bit too intense almost. That's death metal, regular death metal is usually about as extreme as I go. But there is the odd brutal death metal band. These guys are and the technical side as well that I do follow and I do enjoy still quite a bit. But when it comes to brutal death metal, it really takes a really unique band for me to check it out and kind of listen to it. Because I do find when I listen to a lot of brutal, kind of those really intense brutal death metal bands in general, it's just a wall of noise to my ears. It doesn't have any structure or no groove. It's just a wall of constant pounding and a little wearing on the ears usually, but Cryptopsy infuses just enough groove and underlining melodies to keep it interesting, so it's not just a wall of noise. And this album was pretty good. It was really well executed, really technical playing, really good guitar riffs, really good solos. And I really enjoyed this album considering. And like I said, I'm more of a fan of the older school, just regular death metal, like Obituary and things like that, Death, that have a little bit more mid-paced stuff, more crunchy riffs, a little bit more groove-laden. But Cryptopsy is one of those bands I kind of really mess with, and I've still really enjoyed, even though they're on the more extreme level. The opening track, Nemus Adoration, was a killer opener. A couple parts in the song, it would drop into this like nice little groove for like 30 or 40 seconds. But otherwise, right out of the gate, it's a pummeling, just blast beats and like a wall of intensity. But really, really good opener. The second song, Until There's Nothing Left, had a little more groove pockets within it. Really good guitar solo on this one as well. The guitar solos are always really sick. I just wish on this album they put a couple more solos, to be honest, because when they did pop up, they kind of cut through the brutality and brought it down a little bit in a good way. But they didn't quite have as many solos as I would like. I was hoping they would have maybe a few more. But I do like the second song quite a bit. That was a good tune. Other standout tracks for me, The Art of Emptiness was a really cool song. That one started off a little slower and had a more of a mid-range kind of feel, and then it pummeled in with the blast beats and the drums and the heavy guitars, and went brutal and intense. But that was a really cool song, had different layers to it. The bass really stood out in this album as well. The bass is high in the mix. It's adding a lot of low end and a lot of groove to the music as well. Our Great Deception was another cool song. I really enjoyed that one as well. Again, a lot of nice little groove pockets in there as well. Really subtle but underlining melodic passages to kind of keep the music flowing. And like I said, so it doesn't sound like just a wall of noise. And the last track on the album, Malicious Needs, probably the most brutal song on the album. So intense and just brutality. It's hard to explain. It's just so brutal and intense. It's just a killer song. But overall, really well executed. I think it's stronger than their last album. I really did like their last album from 2023. And I thought this album might be even a little bit better. Really good, well constructed, really well played. You can definitely hear the technical side of the playing. One of the best drummers in all of metal, in my opinion, as well. That's kind of one reason I kind of followed the band. He does these like crazy intense drum fills. I don't know how he does it, but killer drummer. Probably the best musician on the band, in my opinion. But yeah, if I didn't mention it before as well, Cryptopsy was the first metal band ever to play in Saudi Arabia back in 2023, which is kind of surprising to me because I thought it would be a band like Metallica or Iron Maiden, like one of those kind of more mainstream bands. But surprisingly enough, Cryptopsy was the first band in history to ever play in Saudi Arabia. I thought it was pretty interesting. So yeah, really enjoyed the album. Cool artwork, really good technical playing, well constructed songs, really brutal. But for me, after like by the time the album's over at the 33-minute mark, my ears have had enough. They can't really handle much more than 30 or 35 minutes usually. It's not the type of metal I usually really listen to a lot. But once in a blue moon, I'll listen to Cryptopsy if I want something really intense and brutal. But normally, brutal death metal is not in my wheelhouse. It's kind of more extreme than I prefer. But really good album, really well executed and well written. For score, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. For the genre it is, I think it's really well done. The playing is really good. The songs are brutal, but like I said, have just enough pockets of groove and stuff to keep it interesting. The drumming is crazy as well on this album, like usual. And yeah, just a really, really good death metal album, really good stuff. So let me know down below what you thought of the new album and what would you give it for a ranking. Stay tuned next week for the new Sodom album. I'm really excited to check that one out. I might jump on Metallum later today and to see if there's anything else that came out this week that might jump out at me, or like an underground band I might want to check out. But otherwise, stay tuned next week for the Sodom review. And I have a couple other videos coming up for during the week. I'm going to do a video probably on buying metal CDs in 2025, pros and cons, and different sources to buy them, etc. So stay tuned for that video as well. And thanks for watching, guys, and keep it metal.